fantastic recent things to happen to the EOS blockchain. Autumn and Crystal are going to present about it. They're from shEOS, and they're going to be talking about the EOS 21 protocol. And if you're not familiar, it is the protocol that lets you teleport Ethereum tokens to the EOS blockchain. So it's a fantastic recent development.
I think we have a little, how much time do we have?
You got 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it, and we'll take some questions too. I think the first thing is, and we have Ben Sigmund in the back who might come up and join us if there's anything really technical. So the first thing, I guess, is really just for the audience, before we get started chatting, how many people have built on Ethereum before, developers? Has anyone raised an ICO on Ethereum? Okay, and so definitely anybody that has experience building on Ethereum already knows the challenges, or anybody that has a CryptoKitty, I have too many, understands the problems with the network and why application software doesn't work fundamentally on Ethereum the way that we want it to, scalability-wise. But I think that this is for anyone who has a token. Did you participate in an ICO on Ethereum? That would also apply to you. So that's a lot of people. Anybody who has a token on Ethereum as well, who has backed a project that has stalled or stopped, has not gotten anywhere because they have not been able to build their application. This is why we did it.
Awesome. Oh, am I on? Hello. Hi. Awesome. So thanks for that. So Crystal, can you tell us a little bit about the EOS 21 protocol?
Yes, absolutely. So as a way of introduction, first of all, I'm Crystal Rose. I am the CEO of Sense and also a co-founder of shEOS. shEOS is a block producer that's female founded and female rewarded. So we have a scholarship program that basically gives females in technology scholarships. With our goal is to create an ecosystem where the inflation on the EOS network goes back into the community, and so that's one of the ways. And then the second way is to contribute open source software. So we have really amazing developers on board as well. So Autumn, maybe if you give a quick intro of yourself, and then also Ben, of who we are, why we're even sitting here.
Yeah, so I'm Autumn Peñalosa. I lead marketing and community for shEOS. I joined on with shEOS right after announced, I believe a couple weeks after they announced. Yeah, and so my main goals have been to build awareness around shEOS and what we're trying to do in the space, and try to encourage more women to join the space, try to nurture some new female developer talent. And so it's been an amazing journey, and we have been working really hard on this protocol. Mr. Ben Sigmund.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I want to give a shout out to Juan, too, who's our Chinese community manager who just joined us a few weeks ago. Thank you, Juan. So she's getting involved in the Chinese side. I really love shEOS from the start, because women have done so much to support me in my life. So anything I can do to support women, I'm always down for. I was raised by women, Was anyone else here raised by women? So basically, I think that this protocol is just providing a necessary and fun way to allow users to move their tokens. So let's get into it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with, I'm one of the founders who raised an ICO on Ethereum, wanted to aspire to build the software that we, wrote the white paper for on Ethereum, and found out that it would be impossible to do so on Ethereum. So early in the testnet, very first version of EOS, we were super fortunate to have the ability to access it and understand the software, and we were like, okay, this is the scalable software we need, and we need no fees, so this is it. And so now what we have today is we have a token that's operating on ERC20. We have software that's operating on EOS.io. And so what we need to do for our token holders is move our utility token. We need to port the entire utility over to the application software. And so we need to move our whole token over. And that's where the idea for this came up. If anybody had an EOS transition, you had to go through the registration process, and you had to go through the entire migration over from the Ethereum blockchain. And we wanted to avoid that pain, because it was pretty painful if anybody did that. And so we ended up building this very, very simple teleportation.
And can you describe how that teleportation works?
Yeah, I can tell you guys about teleporting tokens. So the idea is that all of the users who have tokens have them in their wallet on Ethereum, right? So how will we get their tokens moved over to another chain like EOS? Well, EOS did this by doing a snapshot, right? But that's not always realistic because that's like doing an airdrop, so there could be legal ramifications. If you are taking a utility token and then duplicating the supply, how does that affect the price? There's so many questions about that. But if an application developer wants to move their application to the EOS chain, they have to enable a process where the users can make the choice if they want to follow the application to another chain. Maybe they want to keep their tokens on Ethereum, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to use them on another chain. Maybe they want to keep trading them there, or there's so many different possibilities. So the goal of this is let's provide a framework where we can use a contract on Ethereum to hold the tokens, or potentially be burned, or whatever developers decide to do. This can be flipped and folded different ways, but depending on how anyone wants to do it, there's a black hole contract on Ethereum that gets deployed using our configuration script that enables users to send their tokens and send an EOS account name to that contract. And that will track how many tokens were sent in from the sending account, and then connect that to the EOS destination account, which an Oracle watches and then issues tokens on the EOS side to whatever account the user has specified.
Yeah, so for us, I think it's going to be, the biggest challenge is actually communication to our existing token holders. You have a certain amount of people who are KYC'd from the original token sale. Then you have the secondary market. So that's kind of the biggest challenge of this. The teleportation is actually super simple. It's literally just a smart contract, flip the switch. It's actually going to be much, much more difficult to get in touch with everyone. One thing I will say, though, is we have some fun words to use. So you can, technically, according to the SEC, if you're in the US, you can use the word migration, and you can use the word upgrade, which is one that I made sure we had the ability to use. They don't like it if you say airdrop, swap, exchange, transfer. If you're using any of those words on your website and you're based in the US and you are launching an EOS token, just be aware that the SEC is not feeling very friendly about them. So airdrop is, so 3 months ago.
So one question that I know all of us get recently is, how does this differ from what Bancor recently released?
I can talk into this a little bit. So Bancor just released Bancor X protocol, which allows you to move tokens from EOS to Ethereum as well. However, that requires the use of BNT, which is Bancor's token. So everything in Bancor works with, essentially works with BNT tokens. And now they have a way to take BNT tokens and move them from EOS to Ethereum and back and forth. So that's really what theirs is centralized around, is the idea of using BNT. Which is very smart, and it's a really great way of enabling users to move tokens back and forth. You can go both ways. Technically, this could be upgraded to allow you to go both ways too if we build a black hole contract on EOS, which is not that hard to do. It's just like an escrow type of contract. But the difference between it is basically in this system, you don't need any extra tokens. You can do this completely independently of any other protocol, or you will control the entire process as a developer. Whereas with the Bancor model, yeah, you have to use Bancor's systems, and they have their own oracles that they control and run. This one requires you to have your own oracle, and I think it's more customizable in this way.
Yeah, we have our token on Bancor as well. So Sense BNT is the Bancor relay token. What we had to do is we had to take Sense and back our relay. So we gave them $1 million worth of our tokens. The tokens went into Sense BNT relay. If a user wants to exchange EOS for Sense, it goes into that contract and it comes out the other side. But they have a new token in between, and that was the old model of Bancor.
Yeah, and I just want to say that also we're in communication with Bancor and Liquid EOS regularly about how we can work together to collaborate on doing these kinds of things. So it's not like competition; it's co-opetition, right? We're all cooperating on the same goals, and I think that their solution might work for some people. This might work for some other people. Yeah. So it's not like anyone is better than another, but it's just different, right?
I see this as an upgrade. Like, you would never go back to the old software. So we're excited to just do it one way. If you've gone through a black hole, you probably don't want to go backwards. Go the other way, go outside. I think your molecules change at that point.
Should we open it up to questions? What else do we want to share about EOS 21? Does anyone have any questions?
So the question's about value, of how much value can you move. For each transaction, there's no minimum. The way that why is that happening?
Yeah.
The way that it's designed right now is, I'm going to stand up. The way it's designed right now is that there's a minimum that you can set in the contract that attracts the tokens in the black hole contract for teleportation. So the way I recommend doing it is, like, you want to have a minimum so that you don't get spammed with all kinds of, accounts transferring, little tiny amounts all the time. So you want to pick a good minimum, probably like an average of what most accounts have, or maybe a minimum token hold of whatever the minimum on your holders is. I think for Sense we found it was somewhere around like 1,000 tokens. And then you'd want to also require that all of the tokens are moved from that address. So that's how this works now, is like there's a setting in there that you can change. Another setting is that there's a critical block, so there's an expiration time. So you can set like a migration period, like within this month you can move your tokens, the Oracle will be online and listening, and the Oracle serializes the transaction, so if it were to die or go offline, you just restart, it'll pick up where it left off. But yeah, there's no minimum or maximum, there's no maximum amount of tokens. I recommend setting a minimum, but you could not if you chose to. Yeah, any other questions? There's no incentive models that we have. Yeah, like the shEOS does not make any profit off of anyone using this protocol. It's totally just for the good of EOS and to just help developers do cool things, Yeah, thank you for that, Rob.
I think we all have the same incentive, which is to make the community stronger, right? For us, it's at Sense we had to do this anyway, and so we were like, well, why don't we just open source it? I think like that's the number one amazing thing about the community is the moment that you say, let's just open source it. And so getting the backing of the EOS Alliance, getting the backing of the block producers, having people audit the contract, that way it's safe for everybody. So it's really just a matter of, we feel the pain of being a developer who's had to switch over from one protocol to the other. And I think also we've watched this exodus. So I really fundamentally believe there's going to be an exodus from Ethereum for all of those who are actually building software. If you have to build application software, you're probably already on EOS or, I won't say any of the other 3 or 4 letter words, but you're on another protocol. And so we really just wanted to fundamentally build something, give it away, but with trust in the system. And shEOS, I think, is just like most of the block producers, that, especially the ones that are here, we're building for the community.
Awesome, I love that. And I actually have a question too that I would love to hear from you too. How important do you think that inter-blockchain communication will be in the future?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of different challenges that EOS is still facing. I have like a list of things that I've said are like, well, EOS is maybe not exactly ready for prime time yet because of some technical things going on. And so the idea of inter-blockchain communication could be referring to side chains on EOS, which a lot of applications are looking to build side chains or sister chains now. And so, of course, yeah, coming up with protocols and methods to allow communication between the different chains is going to look something like this, most likely. It requires, tokens to still exist on each chain, but whether the custodianship is in the wallets that they're in. So there'll be different atomic swaps and different things like that. But yeah, I think it's very important, actually. And I've been talking with some different developers working on EOS who have some really good solutions coming up for that, and also for fixing the RAM problem. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the backside.
Polkadot's coming.
Polkadots, yes.
Yeah, so a year and a half ago, Gavin Wood, who's a co-founder of Ethereum, who left a while ago, said, I went to him and I said, can you help me? Please be our advisor. We'd like to build on Ethereum. And he's like, okay, I can help you. Don't build on Ethereum. So that didn't help because that was the only option that we had at the time, and it was the best option for raising an ICO. And he said, listen, either build your own chain or build on Ethereum, but know that you're going to be off of Ethereum soon. And he was in the process of building Polkadot. They have parity, other projects, but Polkadot is the interoperable blockchain. And so he raised $200 million for this very quietly, actually. He raised an ICO, $200 million, did a 2-year lockup on the tokens. Very few people could probably pull this off. So we're coming up on now almost the 2 years very soon, and we'll see Polkadot emerging out to the ecosystem. So I'd look for some of those projects that are working to connect the chains together. I think it's coming soon.
Super exciting. And Brandon, did you have a question?
Cool.
Oh, excellent.
Let's
okay.
tell them how they can find us.
You can find us on all the channels, sheos.org. We have a whole page on GitHub about the EOS 21 protocol. We have a demo video that was created by the amazing Angel Jose. And also a nice, slightly comedic intro video by Miss Crystal and Ben. Unicorns are involved. You can find those on our YouTube channel and the Sense channel as well. And actually, would now be a good chance, a good moment really briefly to announce some exciting news? Yeah? So shEOS is super excited to announce that CyberCode twins are officially a part. They've always been a part of the shEOS family, but they're officially part of the shEOS team. And we are so thrilled, so thrilled to announce that. So continue to look for just rock star goodness from those ladies. And we're so happy to support them and support them on their way to greatness. So thank you, ladies. Yeah. And thanks to everyone for being here.
Thank you. That's fantastic.